couple of topics tonight where we're talking about manipulating the system.
Yes.
And we've talked a couple of times about the southern border. I mean, it's a hot topic.
Yes.
Is it the number? I think it's the number 2, election topic besides the economy. I think is, the border's still number 2, and it revolves around national security. But everybody's focused on the southern border because it gets the most attention and the most traffic, and it's on the news the most. But Border Patrol Services has broken a record for the most encounters on our northern border.
Well, okay, so we'll do a little bit of comparison. So the southern border has had roughly 6 million encounters since Biden assumed office. So that's the latest data on that. And maybe I'm wrong. I thought I had like the exact number here, but maybe I don't. But the numbers over on the northern border are not that high, but they are significantly higher. They have their highest. They have a record-breaking wave of illegal immigrants arrested in 1 month. So in 1 month, they had more arrests than they've had in like the past 3 years, I think. And that is incredibly telling. So more migrants last month than in the 2 previous years combined. So the 2 previous years combined in 1 month, So that is, hey guys, that's concerning. That's definitely concerning. And just so we know, this, so the northern border, let's see, it's the Swanton sector. It spans across New Hampshire, Vermont, and the eastern counties of New York State. So if you're in my neck of the woods, that's, that's your neighbors. That's right around the corner, basically.
So the question is, I mean, obviously the current administration plays a massive role in this. There's nobody argues that point. We know that the president and this administration continues to enjoy the open borders as much as they, make claims otherwise. But there's always somebody on the other side of this. And I don't know if you saw this. So the newly elected, I think, president of Panama, right, has outright said they are cutting off all traffic moving north.
Wow.
So he's tired of this. I think he's trying to make a better relationship and better alliance with the United States, truthfully. And I think he probably can read some tea leaves and knows there's going to be an administrative change here coming up. So he is cutting off. There's a corridor, and I don't remember the name of it, but there's a corridor through Panama, obviously across the canal and that. But he has said they are doing immediate deportations. If they find people moving through this corridor, non-Panamanians, illegal immigrants moving through, they're putting them on a plane, they're sending them home. He's done with it. And so that will alleviate some pressure further down the pipeline, right, for us. But now we're looking north. So this rests, there's only one person. There's one person responsible for all this stuff coming from Canada, and it's Justin Trudeau, who is as big of a communist as anybody on the planet. I mean, the guy is, you can't even qualify him as a socialist. I mean, he is the worst. He's horrible. I know most Canadians can't stand him. Horrible to individual rights. The fact that they offer, and I don't know if you know this or not, this is so heartbreaking to me, but they offer euthanasia, euthanasia to veterans who are suffering. Instead of taking care of them, they offer them assisted suicide as an out. Not only offer it, recommend it in many cases.
Whoa. Wow.
It's disgusting. It is their version of the VA that is responsible for this. They actually passed it, and then they said, hey, we probably need to pause on that. But the fact is that the government itself is supporting this effort, which is sickening.
Absolute monsters.
Person that you've got in charge up there, and that he is helping whatever policies. I'm not saying the guy's like hosting immigrants in his house, but whatever policies he's putting in place, very much like our current administration, the policies he's putting in place are facilitating months like we just had. Yes. There's no way that this is an accident, right?
Right. Absolutely not.
It's warm in Canada now. Go that way. You know, it's
Mhm.
easier to get through. Go that way. You know, it's not as hot. You don't have to walk 4,000 miles through Mexico to get there. It's
Right.
easier. Go through Canada. And that's what's
Mhm.
happened. Is they're
Yeah.
finding an inroad, through Canada, and now they're coming in through our Northeast. And I'm sure it's not exclusive to the Northeast. I'm sure it's, all across the northern border, in
Right.
various pockets and places as it's easier to traverse. But
Mhm.
there's a responsibility here, and this is international relations, same continent. Just like we have problems with Mexico,
Right.
we're going to have problems with Canada, and it's going to get
Yes.
worse.
Yes,
It's going to get
absolutely.
worse. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, what we're seeing right now is if something isn't done basically immediately, that's only going to get worse. You don't
Yep.
have that kind of spike, and the next month it's going to be nice and quiet. Like this is the beginning of a flood, essentially. It's bad. And the most infuriating thing, and we all know it, the most infuriating thing about this is that Biden could stop this in a minute. One executive order and it's done. And he refuses, and everybody knows that. And anyone who is pretending that they don't know that, or that they don't believe that, is either an idiot or they're lying, or they because they want this to happen because they think that's going to benefit their side.
With this, Border Patrol is stretched thin. We talked about this multiple times. Like they're
Right.
being misused in many cases to do processing administrative stuff instead of actually physically trying to contain the border, which they can't all do. There's
Mhm.
not enough of them. The southern border is completely overwhelmed at this point, and now you've got to surge north, and there's no capability out there. None. There's no reserve. There's no extra guys laying around. There's no BPS that's sitting around doing nothing to move up there to help those that are already up there. Like there's
Mhm.
no capability we can add to this that will reduce this. And even if we had it, the administration is not going to do it. Like
Right.
that's not a thing. So I really feel sorry in all of this, and I've said this before, for the BPS folks, because they're doing everything they can, and truthfully more than they can.
Right.
They're the heroes and the victims of this entire thing. And
They are.
now the folks who are up north, they're about to catch hell for it too.
Mhm.
And it's I feel so bad for those folks, and it's awful because now it's I hate to say it's a two-front war, but that's kind of what it's looking like.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's going to be any kind of good, quasi good to come of this, is that it may agitate enough people on this side, on the northern side, because now you're legit getting affected. People who were not getting personally affected by this are now about to, if not already, getting personally affected by this. So maybe that's going to open some eyes over here, and
Yeah, they don't have to bust them in from Texas anymore.
right,
Show
right.
up organically from Canada.
No 3 a.m. flights dropping off,
Yeah. At
illegals. I refuse to call
Martha's
them
Vineyard.
anything other than illegals. Dropping off illegals in quiet towns all across the country in the
They're
dead
just
of
going to
night.
show up. They're just going to show up. Yeah.
They're just going to walk right over. And guess what, guys? They're going to walk right in your house. So I hope you're prepared for that,
True
because,
statement. Yep. It's going to happen.
it's going to happen. And
They're not all bad people, but they're
not.
Some of them are bad.
Some of them are,
But some of them are bad. Yeah.
exceptionally bad, as in if you are in any of those bordering areas, I will go so far as to say, ladies, if you are joggers, morning walkers, any of those things, I would second guess that idea, because you are no longer safe.
Nope.
Less safe than you ever were, let's put it that way, because we're always not exactly safe, but whole next level here. And boy, oh boy, people are going to find out the hard way. And it sucks that is always the case, that for people to wake up and be, and get angry is only when they get personally affected. And I think we're going to see some of that now.
Well, we're starting to see it. And